3D Sparkly Monster Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I did this cute little monster little nail art design with acrylic. And so when you first look at it, you might not even notice that it's a monster because it's really subtle. He's just kind of hidden in there. He kind of blends in a little bit, and that was my goal. I have all of these new glitters that I just got from Born Pretty store, and whenever I get a whole bunch of new products like that, I want to try them all out, and I kind of want to just sort of smush them all into one design just for comparison purposes. And as I'm working something, I'm like, oh, I'll use this, and then I'm like, oh, I'll use this, and I just keep adding things, and it gets to be more and more glitzy and glittery, which I know that I do this. So when I was making this design, I decided that I did want to make him a little bit of a little monster on there, but I want it to kind of be more decorative, and you don't really realize it's a monster unless you're really looking at it. So I hope you guys like this cute little guy, and I also want to mention that don't mind the fact that the underside of my natural nail looks pretty gross in the photo. I've got some henna underneath some of my nails. I just did this to my hand, so I've got a little bit of henna residue otherwise on me. So that's what that is. I just wanted to mention that quick in case you're thinking, what is under her nail? Henna, I promise. So I hope you guys like this design, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. So here's the stuff that I got from Born Pretty store. As I said, it is a lot of glitter, it's a lot of rhinestones, and I got excited and I used a whole bunch of it. So there's a couple sets like this one that are all kinds of different studs and rhinestones that are just kind of a mismatch of stuff. I'll put links to everything in the description box below, but these kits are so cool because it's not like a whole bunch of seashells where you get only seashells, and it's like, I don't really need that many, because you get all this huge variety. So then I got a kit of silver studs, so everything in there was silver, and then I got a kit of gold studs, and they're all gold, and there's different like little frames, and there's studs, and there's all kinds of different stuff in there, and they're all gold or all silver, which will make really good for using a variety of things. There's this little bag of rhinestones, and those are the ones that I used mostly in the video, and they're gorgeous, and they're all different sizes, but they're all the same color, which is really nice. I will be transferring those to a little pot though, so that they're easy to use instead of just keeping them in that bag. So here's some little little sequins glitter things, and then here's a little glitter mix. All of these I am so excited to use. Like I said, whenever I see all these glitters, I get really excited. So I didn't use all of them in today's video, but you guys will definitely see me using these soon, because you know, glitter is fantastic. Here is the duochrome powder that I got. It is a rose color to a green, and holy cats and dogs, you will see it in the video. It is so duochromy. It is probably one of my favorite ones because it goes from the pink to that green, and it's just so intense. I was loving it. This is my first ever chameleon flake, so I was pretty excited about this one as well. That one's like a purple to a teal. That one is again in the video, so you'll see a little bit more on that one. And then these are the two hollow powders. They are, I don't know, I think this one is the blue one. If I can get it open. I struggle opening things. So, yep, there's the blue or the teal color. These are both gorgeous. I have one that's more of a blue, but it's a little bit bigger. The pieces of glitter are bigger, so I wanted to get one that's finer. And these are both really nice and fine, and they apply really well. And here's the one that's sort of the fuchsia color. Both the hollow powders are stunning. I don't think they're quite as holographic, though, as some of the other ones that I have. But they're still gorgeous, and they're still glitter. But I don't know, for some reason I don't think they're quite as hollow. I don't know for sure why, but you know, you never know. So then to start out the nail design, I'm going to begin with a layer of black acrylic going down the nail just to get the color on there. And I am using a clear nail tip to do this. This way I don't have to bother applying black polish or anything to either side of the nail, since I'm going to have those powders on there. I need that black base. This gives me a black base on both the top and the bottom of the nail without having to apply anything extra. So there's that layer of black acrylic, and then I'm going to be encasing the nail with a layer of clear just to make sure it's nice and strong, get that strength in there, the apex, and smooth it out, because that black acrylic that I was using is a 3D acrylic, which doesn't work the best to apply an overlay like that, but it is a color acrylic, which is necessary to apply an overlay like that if you want the color. So it was a little bit lumpy before this point. After you have that layer of clear acrylic on there, I'm just going to be filing it into shape. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of off camera. It is very awkward to be filing this over the top of my dust collector, and I am still kind of working on it. I should have zoomed out a little bit more before I press record, but I promise you I am still kind of playing around with this, and I will get better at recording that stage soon, hopefully, as I practice. So I'm going to be applying a layer of no white top coat over the top of the nail, curing it 15 seconds, and then applying the holographic powder. Now 15 seconds is the cure that I've used for my other hollow powders in the past, and it's always worked out really well, and I do still think that is the right cure time in my LED lamp, because the powder stuck but didn't stick super well. That's kind of what you're going for, is you want it to stick but you don't want it to get stuck. I don't know, it's hard to explain because you don't want it to get too stuck where it kind of grabs onto that tacky layer. So you got to kind of find the balance of just how much curing it needs. Remove the dust and then apply a layer of gel sealer. And as you can see, it is holographic, especially in the fuchsia one, but the teal one just wasn't quite as much. After that gel sealer is cured, flip the nail over and then apply some gel top coat, no wipe gel top coat to the underside of the nail, cure that fully, and apply that duochrome powder. Do you guys see how duochrome it is? Do you see how it's catching the light so well? It's gorgeous. Remove the dust once again and apply another layer of gel sealer, this time to the underside of the nail, and throw that into the lamp one final time. Make sure you cure, make sure you get the gel sealer on the sides of that nail as well, just like on the very edge, just so that you don't have a gap where there's nothing, just to kind of seal all of that in and make sure that the powders are really going to last a nice long time. So then on the top of it, once again, I'm taking some more of that black acrylic and I'm going to be starting to sculpt out my little monster. I began with a body for a teardrop shape. Now when I'm sculpting him, I had no plan at all. I just I woke up and I thought, I feel like sculpting a little monster. And this happens sometimes. You just wake up and you feel like doing something. Well, that day I woke up and I felt like sculpting out a little monster. So I started out and I didn't have any plan for him. I just thought I would kind of make it up as I went along. So there's his body, and then I'm going to lay a bead down for his legs. After it's set just enough, I can split it in half with my brush to create 2 skinny legs. Instead of trying to do them individually, it goes a lot quicker doing it that way, and you have a better chance of them being the same length and the same thickness if you create one leg and then split it in half, which works really well if there's a layer of that gel sealer on top of the nail before you start messing around with it, because it'll split very cleanly. So after his legs and feet are in place, I'm going to be adding his arms. I'm going to set a bead down for right where I want his arm and then kind of break it in half with my brush, very similar to the legs. But instead of doing it to make 2 legs, I'm going to do it from the elbow out and create his upper and lower sections of his arm, just like that, like he's got his little hands on his hips. But then I'm going to be adding his other arm, exact same process, set the bead down, split it into 2 sections, and then after you have it split, you can kind of press it from side to side to straighten out the lines and make sure that they are, symmetrical and he looks good from side to side. You want to try to make sure that his arms are about the same size as each other, just so that they do look symmetrical. That being said, he is a monster and you can do pretty much whatever you want with him, and if they don't match, they don't match. So then with white acrylic, I'm going to be adding his eye. That's the great thing about making a little monster like this, is it's kind of the, what do I want to add next sort of deal. And you don't have to follow anything. You don't have to match something. You can just kind of play with it and have fun with it and try different techniques out that you've been wanting to work on and just kind of create it as you go. So after his eye is in place, I'm going to be adding the color with one of the studs from one of the kits that's purple, and then adding a black pupil. And I attach the stud with some clear acrylic, but you could also use nail glue if you enjoy nail glue. And then I'm going to be encasing his eye with a layer of clear acrylic just to make sure that that stud is really nice and smoothed over. And encasing that is really going to give it sort of an eyeball appearance, because it's going to give it that depth that eyes seem to have. Apply a layer of gel sealer over his eye, and then I'm going to be outlining his eye with a layer of black acrylic. Now when I'm doing this, I'm going to set down the bead of black acrylic and then stretch and pull it around the eye. So that layer of gel sealer is incredibly important to have on there before this, because then you know that your black acrylic isn't going to stain the surface of the clear, and it's not going to leave a residue. So it's going to make sure that you can keep it clean, which is really nice. So then after I have the top line of his eye with the black acrylic, then I'm going to go through and do his slower line. So these are almost like eyelids. These are his eyelids that I'm adding right now. And like I said, he is very subtle. You don't see him too much just because the background color is fairly dark and he is just a little black creature standing there. But if you wanted him to be a little bit brighter, you could make the background like a neon green instead of having the hollow powders, and then have him black and he would really show up. So then to apply the lashes, I'm going to be taking and just applying a layer of gel super glue, not nail glue, gel super glue, because it's a little thicker and it takes a little longer to dry. And then with a tweezers, I'm going to be pulling off sections of these eyebrow extensions, the 5mm ones, the short ones. And then I'm going to be just picking them up and setting them down. Now it's really important to use that gel super glue that I have instead of just a regular super glue or instead of nail glue, because it is thicker. And it will hold the lashes in place and it will keep them in the direction that you set them. And so that's key to do this. So just pick them up, and you can pick them up in small sections of the eyelashes. Just sort of pick up a section, set them down, and it worked out really well. Then I put some gel sealer on his tummy, cured it, and applied the chameleon flakes to his midsection. And then I'm going to be taking some more gel and I'm going to be applying that at the cuticle, and then taking one of those silver circle studs, setting that right in the center, and then adding a small studs to the center, and then adding 2 more studs to either side of it. rhinestones. A rhinestone in the center and then a rhinestone on either side, just to kind of glitz this guy up. Like I said, you got all these fun new things to play with, and I tried to use as many as I could because you're just looking at them and you want to use everything right away. At least I have that instinct. And then I'm going to be adding 2 more rhinestones underneath his feet just to add them like that, and then apply some matte top coat over the top of his tummy and over the top of his body and everything, just to that's going to help make that easier to see. So that's it for this funny little monster. I know it's kind of a crazy mishmash of design and just all thrown together, but I had fun making it, and it's kind of a fun project just to do because there's really no rules with it. So I hope you like it, and don't forget to share recreations with me on Facebook and Instagram. I would really love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!